Welcome, everyone. I'm Wendy Hunt, President and CEO of the Nashua Chamber. Alyssa Amara is our programs manager who's going to be doing most of the talking. I hope people don't mind. We are going to video this on Zoom, record it just in case people miss it. And you can also feel free to share it once we have that tape. So I'm going to let Alyssa kick it off. I did run this program for several years myself. I love it. It's a fantastic program. Take it away, Alyssa.
All right. So I don't know how familiar everyone is with our Leadership Greater Nashua program, but I thought I would get started just by kind of giving a general overview of what the program looks like and kind of running through some of the time commitments and attendance commitments that we'll have for that. So the program itself runs from September of 2024 through either May or June of 2025, depending on when we book graduation. There are 8 full sessions from October to May. And then in September, it's actually a 2-day event. We have an overnight retreat that will be held at the Barbara C. Harris Center. Just add one more person in, sorry. And that will take place on September 5th and 6th in Greenville at the Barbara C. Harris Conference Center. It is about a 1.5-day commitment. So we start at 7:45 a.m. on that first day, which is a Thursday, and we leave around lunchtime on the following Friday. Each monthly session has a different topic attached to it. Most of the session days are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, on occasion, there may be one that goes a little bit earlier, starts a little earlier, or ends a little bit later. Not very often. I think February is our only session that we have a 7:30 a.m. start time because we start the day in Concord at the State House. Let's see. One of the biggest aspects of the LGN program is the class project. So this is a legacy project that all of the cohorts in the class will create. It is voted on by the class itself, all the participants, and you will form committees, and it will run just like any other project that you have to, whether at work or in school or whatever it was. This year's class is actually building they were able to raise about $18,000 and are giving Girls Inc. of New Hampshire a STEAM room, so for STEM and art. And they raised enough funds that they are actually able to leave behind a small endowment fund to pay for programming going forward, which was really great. Last year's class worked with Family Promise, and they renovated the courtyard at Family Promise. So all of the families that were staying there are now able to utilize it. And it was a fantastic idea. Some of the people from Family Promise came to graduation and shared that they saw dads and sons out playing catch for the first time in years. And so the point being, it is whatever your class decides that it should be, but it is a significant portion of the program itself. It does require additional meeting outside of just the normal first Wednesday of the month sessions that we do. So just to plan in advance for that. And let me see, I am going to share my screen for a moment. Just to go through some of the expectations for the class. Give me 1 second here. Good, will let me. Perfect. Can everyone see that? Awesome. So these seem like very simple expectations, but sometimes they are not. The first and foremost being be on time. If you are going to be late, everyone in the class will have my cell phone number and my contact information. I just ask that you give me a heads up. I understand things happen, daycare line runs long, there's traffic on the highway, but just giving us a heads up in advance so that we know that's going on. One of the attendance policies for this year that was added is in regards to tardiness and leaving early. So everyone is permitted to have 2 absences during the 10-month period of time. We understand things come up, but it's only 10 days. So you can miss 2 sessions or be late or leave early a total of 4 times, whatever that combo is. So if you have to leave early twice and then you can only miss one additional day is what it breaks down to. It's a half day dock if you are more than 15 minutes late. So we do expect that you are going to be able to be in attendance the whole time. Be prepared is the third one. You will receive a binder at the retreat in September, and you are expected to bring that with you to every session. Before the session, everyone receives speaker bios, agendas for the day, itineraries, directions, parking maps, things like that. So it is the responsibility of each participant to print all that information out and make sure you have it handy at every single session, and to add those handouts to your binder as the months progress. Number 4, be engaged, participate, and ask questions. Also seems like a self-explanatory one, but everyone who is there for these sessions, all of our presenters and speakers have taken time out of their day. Some of them have very important jobs and positions within our community. So we just ask that everyone is respectful of their time and pays attention. Cell phone usage would, piggybacks right onto that. There are only a few breaks throughout the day, a small handful. Even sometimes lunch is a working lunch. We may have a presenter during that lunchtime period of time. So when you commit to the program, we just want to make sure that everyone is aware, including all of your colleagues, your employers, family, et cetera, that you're not available for that period of time. When we're traveling from location to location, you can use that time to get back to people, make phone calls. If you arrive early, check emails, things like that. But once the session is happening and the presenters are speaking, we do ask that those phones be silenced and put away. It is hugely rude, and we think, again, it should be an easy thing, but it does happen every year. So the last thing is surveys. We send out a survey at the end of every session. You'll either receive it at the end of the day or the following morning. Your feedback is hugely important to us. We want to know what's working, what's not, what you enjoyed, what we should be changing for next year, if things are not relevant anymore. All of that information is very important to us. So I would say that if we can get 2/3 of the class every time to fill out their survey, that's hugely helpful. This year's class did a great job. There were 31 of them, and I think that at least 25 to 30 did every survey. Does anyone have any questions on that so far? Feel free to throw it up in the chat if you do. The bottom section here is our tentative schedule for the year. The dates are firm, however, we leave it as tentative just because sometimes speakers have to change things, but the dates itself will be pretty firm. And we will all sign this together at the retreat, everyone who is accepted into the program. So jumping back in. Awesome. I guess my next question would be, I know a lot of you are from organizations that have sent people through already. Did anyone have any questions from people that they know who've gone through the program, or anyone who's new and has never heard anything about it? Feel free to either pop it in the chat or unmute yourself.
Yeah, so Alyssa, can you just go over the general intent and what the goal is to get out of it?
Absolutely. Great question. So, I mean, it is a leadership program. So if you are familiar with Leadership Greater Manchester or Leadership New Hampshire or Rising Stars, it is similar in concept to that. A lot of the people in this year's class have taken other programs and felt that this one's a little bit more well-rounded. So the major leadership components are going to be during the retreat. And then in the January session, we do the first half of the day on high-tech industry. The second half of the day is focused together on that team building, leadership, things like that. There is a book, a reading assignment that you will get before. So you'll have summer reading leading up to it. It's not anything crazy. And then additionally, each session that will have a leadership component in it in some capacity, whether that's a leadership Greater Nashua alumni speaking, or one of the CEOs or nonprofit leaders who's staying for lunch. Each session itself focuses on a different aspect of the Southern New Hampshire and Greater Nashua area. So we go through everything from local politics and state politics to education system to the nonprofit sector. You will meet probably 30 people in our local community and Southern New Hampshire area every single session that we have. It's panel discussion focused primarily. As leaders, you all are encouraged to run the panels and ask the questions during these discussions and to get as much out of it as you can. It's like any program, to be honest, Chris, like you get out of it what you put into it. So some people are coming into this thinking this is a networking program. It's for you to get, make all these connections. And it is sort of, but that's not the goal. It's a leadership program. It's meant to educate people. And, you get out of it what you put into it. If you maintain those connections with the people that you've met throughout the course of the program, it can be an excellent networking opportunity, but that's not its sole purpose. Does that help? Okay. Are there any other questions?
And to confirm, all the other dates are 8 a.m. other than the Concord, right?
Most of them are 8:30 a.m.
8:30,
Yeah,
okay.
between 8 and 8:30. It's usually an 8:30 start time, so I like to give a little buffer for everyone to get there. Yeah.
Most stuff is in Nashua, typically.
For the most part, on nonprofit day, we do travel, or this year we did at least. There, occasionally we might head to like Amherst or something like that, but not too far over the line. We're staying within 20 minutes of downtown Nashua pretty much the whole time.
Okay.
Wendy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
The two exceptions to that, Chris, are when we do Government and Politics Day, we're going to go up to Concord. That's a blast. We get the red carpet rolled out for us up at the Capitol before we come back for city politics, and also an Economic Development Day. The last 4 years, we have done some of it in Manchester. For example, the Historical Museum there, or actually it's the Millyard Museum. They have a pretty good replica of what it was like to be a mill town, and that was our original economic development here as well. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. It's a great program. I personally have never taken it. I've run it for a couple of years, and I have to say, even just running it, the contacts that I made, because I ran a different chamber of commerce about 20 minutes away in Amherst, and I thought I knew a lot of people. Well, not until I really met people, and it was the presenters, the different business industries, and I found they were to be very forthcoming. They're like, if you have a question after, they're going to give you your card, and they don't mind this class following up with them. It's really kind of incredible. As my job duties grew, it became obvious that I really needed a programs manager to devote more time to making this program even better. So I think with Alyssa coming in this past year, that this program is getting better each year. Again, surveys help, gives us that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Would it be helpful if I put those dates back up on the screen for everyone? Did everyone get a chance to peek at those and make sure they wrote them
Those
down?
posted, or is actually all of that posted?
Correct. Yep. All of it is actually available on the Chamber website. We have a whole tab that is for Leadership Greater Nashua. If you click on Leadership Greater Nashua, it's going to give you all the info on it. And then there's a separate link below that has the application.
Alyssa, can I ask you a question on the separate project?
Mhm.
Can you give an estimate of maybe how many hours that project ended up taking, usually ends up taking?
Yeah, I think last year, I don't know, probably like with meetings and the actual build out of the the courtyard at Family Promise, I think we probably did like 25 hours ish.
Okay.
It's really like a lot of Zoom meetings to get things prepped. That can be anywhere. This class did a Zoom, they did it a little bit differently. So this year's class, once they created their committees, they chose a point of contact for each committee, a lead for it. And they, as a committee, were determining how often they were meeting. And then the leads were meeting every Friday for like 30 minutes at lunchtime just to update each other once the project really kicked off. But that didn't actually happen until around December, January. We recommend waiting until November when we do our nonprofit day to make that decision on the project anyways. The build out itself and then the fundraisers take the most time. Great question. Anyone else?
Can you go into more detail on the retreat?
Sure. So the retreat is, as I said, it's a day and a half long. I can actually share, let me see. Oh, you know what? I haven't updated it for this year, so I don't want to share it yet. But so we start out on the first day with a variety of different speakers. We have a gentleman named Nathan Carroll who comes and MCs the whole weekend for us. I believe he'll be coming back again this year, and he brings with him a couple of different people that will do really a lot of team building stuff for that first day. We spend a good amount of time getting to know each other as a group. There's a personality assessment that you'll do prior, and we'll spend a good portion of time going through that, learning how to communicate with each other, what are the best modes for that. And then we have some other activities, wilderness-based activities that will happen on day 2 that are pretty fun. We have someone from the YMCA who will come and do some activities with that as well. The evening that we are there overnight, there is a bonfire, and again, it's really more team building, and then different aspects of leadership and different leadership styles, and finding out where you fall in that. Dr. Whitaker from Greater Nashua Mental Health comes and does a presentation on conscious leadership. Everyone, always, it's the favorite every single year. People love that. So yeah, it's a fun couple of days, and it's much more relaxed. It's a great way to get to know everyone in the group.
It's rustic, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask about accommodations. How's that
Yeah,
work?
we had people, yeah, you know what? Did you go to camp in 7th grade? It's bunk beds. We've all done it.
And just so you all know, I also stay on a bunk bed with everyone.
Right.
And last year it was very, very warm. The year before that, it was very, very rainy. So it really depends. We'll look at the weather beforehand and make recommendations on what you should bring. But apparently somewhere it is listed that some of the accommodations have air conditioning on their website somewhere. That is not true. Don't look at their website. Listen to the words that we're saying. There will be no air conditioning. It will be warm. So we are casually attired the whole time. And again, you'll get a packing list with everything that you need for it. It is literally like a summer camp overnight. Everyone is going to be sweaty and gross. We'll be in like, shorts and t-shirts the whole time with sneakers on. We did have one person who apparently, and this is why we ask for your personal and your work emails. I send everything to both at the beginning because some work systems don't allow the emails to go through, which was the case last year. We had one poor woman who showed up in a full business suit and heels for the first day of the retreat, and she had to call her husband to bring her an overnight bag because she didn't actually know it was an overnight. So that's why we're doing this info session. Any other questions?
It's really fun, y'all. You will, I mean, you're sitting at camp tables. I love it. I love it.
They ring a big bell for each meal.
Even the rainy day. And we did find out late in the day, the first day, when it was about 100 degrees, that we were allowed to go in the air-conditioned gym. That would have been good information. Right. We now know we have that permission. We did not know we could. We got misinformation. And once we could go in there, it was like, woof, that was way better. It's really fun. And it's, I still have funny stories about, the 4 different times I've been out there, but it's beautiful. It's Otter Lake. It's beautiful. They let us use the paddle boards, the kayaks, swim, and it's not a stressful day. It's actually kind of a fun day.
It's a super fun day. And just so you know, we can't sleep in the gym though. So no matter what, even if we're in there during the day, it is locked at night. We asked that as well. All right. Any other questions about the program?
I haven't looked at the site. What's the registration deadline?
June 12th is the registration deadline right now. So once you fill out your application and send it in, I will send you the employer sponsor application as well. And that would just have to be filled out by a direct supervisor, your employer, or if you are self-employed, as some of you might be, you would just fill that out yourself and sign that. But everything is available on the website. Oh, I should also add that one of my favorite things about this program that I feel like really is utilized more by the recent graduates is our alumni network. We have over 600 people in the LGN alumni network at this point. So if you are someone who's trying to join for those networking purposes, even if there are other people in your industry in the class, the alumni network is a huge, huge resource. We do 4 alumni events every year, and they always have at least 50 people attending them, sometimes 100, depending. I mean, I think business after hours in December, we combine them, and there was like 100 last year for that. So it's a great network. They're very supportive of other alumni, and it's definitely a bonus to doing the program.
I was just gonna add that after you submit your application and we get your employer's form, we are gonna do about a 30-minute Zoom interview with you just to make sure we really go over what the time commitment is. It's really disruptive when people come and go, and we do ask that, your employer is paying for this, so they should know that they shouldn't be scheduling you for a meeting that day. So things like that. So
on that note, a new addition this year that we forgot to mention, on the employer application this year, they will be allowed to check a box if they'd like a mid-program progress report for whoever is in the program. So that is a newer feature. It is not going to everyone's employer. If you really don't want it, maybe talk to your boss and be like, don't do that to me. But it is going to be an option this year. So Monique is nodding her head. Perfect. All right. Any last minute questions? I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I know it's already been 25 minutes. So last questions. You're good, Chris? Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, again, my name is Alyssa O'Mara. I'm the programs manager. If you need anything, please feel free to contact me. My email is aomara, OMARA @nashuachamber.com. And I am here every day. So I hope that we will see some of you in a few weeks for interviews for LGN. And thank you so much for coming today.